These men are not 25. They're not 22. These men are in their late 30s, 37, 38. Grown men. First thing that we're going to talk about is Division. Division, I think they used to be signed to OVO, or are they still signed to OVO? I think they might have moved now. They're from Canada, a boot, like that's them. Usually when Negroes are from Canada, they are West Indian. I'm not sure what their actual background is. I've heard of them. I'm not sure I have listened to a Division song before yesterday or the day before. And they just released this new song. It's called If I Get Caught.
If I get caught cheating, that don't mean I don't love you. Fucking them girls.
One of the members of Division, his name is Daniel, talking to his girlfriend. She's like, oh, I don't like you talking to Mal. Mal is from the Rory and Mal podcast, which is previously from the Joe Budden podcast. So we kind of see like what they're trying to do here. They're in the podcast universe. And the lyrics are, if I get caught cheating, that don't mean that I don't love you. The first verse is, you knew I was a fly nigga. That's why you like me. I'm charismatic. That's why you're here. So I'm still gonna cheat. Almost sounds like R. Kelly. A little bit. Oh, a little bit. Yeah. You get the gist. I'm a cheat. Don't let me fucking other bitches ruin what we have. I have to be honest, you guys. I feel like the song is catchy. I do feel like the song is catchy. I did wake up this morning singing it. So I understand what they were doing here. I get it. I also think that this is very strategic. Division, from what I understand, just does very pure R&B. And they have been bubbling under. And I'm sure that they did the calculations, right? They did the math. I talk about the math. They did the math that we all do when we're trying to get traction on the internet and said, okay, let me do some toxic shit. Let me include the Jay-Z sample. Let me go to Jermaine Dupri because Jay-Z actually had to clear the sample. The sample is from Jay-Z's Song Cry, which is basically a man being toxic, but begging for his ex, but also acknowledging that he had been horrible to her, but also being mad at her for cheating back. Cheat back. I endorse cheating back. I'm 100% all in on cheating back. But anyways, that's toxic Kim. That's the unhealed part of me. These are the text messages from Jermaine Dupri to Hove. Hove says, I didn't think one could make a song more toxic than Song Cry. I stand corrected. Jermaine Dupri, is that a yes? Hove says, I just want a disclaimer that says that I said this song is wrong. Ha, and you're good. Obviously, Beyonce is gonna listen to this. Like, what is the conversation between Beyonce and Jay-Z, about this? Because, Fabio Foreign recently just released some song that interpolates Say My Name. And so the Destiny's Child, had to, Beyonce in particular, because I think she's one of the main writers, had to sign off on them using the sample. And Fabio Foreign was like,
"Oh, Beyonce had to clear that."
Yeah, she heard it. She had to hear it. I'm saying she heard it. She made me. It was a little vulgar, a little bit for her at first.
So you cleaned it up.
I cleaned it up. I cleaned it up.
Beyonce was like, "Nah, I'm not clearing this unless you change."
Yeah, it was like, nah. It was like you can't be talking about girls like that.
Shout out to Beyonce. That's what we need. So anyways, what's the conversation going on? It's also weird to me that did y'all listen to 444? These niggas are not listening, you know what I'm saying? Men try to change their ways and be toxic and share what they've learned. And niggas are not listening. They're not getting the messages. So just do whatever you want to do. This is very obviously, very specifically crafted to get some traction. Because look, I listened to a Division song before this? Maybe, I don't know. It's number 14 on YouTube trending, 160,000 views in a day. Okay, it worked. It worked. It's giving Kevin Samuels in a song. It truly is, right? And that's the other thing. You know how people are always and people do this to me all the time. Y'all are inflating how popular this ideology is. Most Black men do not think like that. Most Black men are not toxic. Most Black men, and I'm like, even if most Black men, let's say, they're not listening to the Kevin Samuel shit, do you think that most Black men where I live in the United States are listening to hip hop, the art form that has for 30 years endorsed all of the most toxic, nasty, misogynistic messages, bitches ain't shit? Like, please. In addition to them releasing this song, they also did this live stream where they talked to a relationship therapist about open monogamy is the term that she dubbed it. And they brought in Nick Cannon. So this is it. We're not going to play it because I don't have time for all that. But basically it was Division, which is actually two men in their late 30s. Let's talk about this. This is the dating pool, you guys. If you're my age, this is the dating pool. These men are not 25. They're not 22. These men are in their late 30s, 37, 38. Grown men. And, Jermaine Dupri up in there, 50. Old. Contributing to pensions and IRAs talking like this. Oh, it's so fucking depressing, you guys. Okay, so anyways, it's truly a mess. They brought Nick Cannon on to talk about open monogamy and basically them saying, well, how do we explain to women that we love you, but we just want to do something else? I mean, you have a conversation, you be honest and give her the opportunity to say yes or no. And if she says no, you break up. Like, we don't know how to use our words. And that's the other thing, right? Obviously, healthy relationships can come in all different forms. Strict, like monogamy, one-to-one is not going to work for everybody. I think a lot of us do rush too quickly into monogamy. We're not ready. I'm an Esther Perel stan, so I have read her book, one of her books, and I listened to her podcast, and she talks about why people cheat, the psychological stuff behind it, the physiological stuff behind it. So I actually understand why, like, infidelity happens in like 50% of relationships. Like, I totally get it. And so if you are deciding like, oh, I don't, then you can choose a different structure. I'm totally okay with that too. My only thing is like entering into a relationship with a person who says they desire monogamy, traditional monogamy. You decide one day you're getting bored. Okay, we all have the right to change our minds, right? And then what ends up happening from what I've seen is somebody gets bored and then that person ends up low-key trying to coerce the other person into agreeing to a non-traditional relationship structure where one person is getting all of their needs met and the other person is getting very few of their needs met. And often in heterosexuality, because of patriarchy and all this other shit, the person who ends up losing is women. And that is what we're responding to. I know many women who don't want to be monogamous, don't want to settle down, but it's like y'all are seeking out relationships with women who do want traditional white picket fence and springing this shit on them. That is not fair. I do feel like a lot of women are very reluctantly or begrudgingly accepting these new terms because they don't want to lose a man. So that is the shit really that pisses me off. Nick Cannon was on there talking about how he relates to all of his, 7 baby mamas and the conversations that he has and whatever. And, something that really struck me when Nick Cannon was talking about him being very open and honest with all of the mothers of his children, he talked about communicating to them what his needs are, what he can give to them. But he never, when he was talking about his many relationships, because, if you have a baby with somebody, you are tied to them. That's a never-ending relationship. He never, when he was discussing this non-traditional family structure that he was building, sitting down and going deep on the children's mothers about what they need. You know what I'm saying? What they can give, how they can feel healthy and happy and supported. Like, this is very a phallocentric, right? Like male-centric idea, structure. And so, okay, the women have agreed to it. Great. Do whatever you want to do. You know, I don't relate to like the feeling of, oh, my womb is on fire. But sometimes women just want to have kids. Okay, you want to have a baby. You want to have a baby with a man who's going to make sure you're not going to struggle. Fine. It's just when we're talking about healthy relationship dynamics, Nick Cannon is not the person I'm going to be talking to. No. No. So this is the other thing. So this little video and the conversation around it and the fact that it's like multi-generational, you know what I'm saying? It made me think about how we always talk about, oh, what R&B used to be, and oh, I miss the begging music. I've been listening to a lot of Drew Hill lately, like Drew Hill Pandora has been on because they did that performance that's gone viral on Instagram. Bring back the begging, bring back the loving, bring back the sensual sexuality or whatever. And it really does make me think about how so many of the people, the men, the youngish men, the 30-something men and younger who are where mainstream R&B is right now. So like Division, you know, is coming up with this song, but really I'm thinking about like the Chris Browns and whoever, like they are playing out this extended adolescence via their music. It's Peter Pan syndrome. It's a refusal to grow up, a refusal to accept accountability, a refusal to embrace the ideals of mutuality. And like, there's no even inkling or indication that they are maturing. There's no growth. One of the reasons why I'm like, y'all listen to Chris Brown music for real? Y'all really be listening to that? Because where is the growth? Where is the maturation? Not only in the sound of it, but like lyrically. Like, why are we still doing this? Music says a lot about where we are psychically. You know, I love cultural critics, like for this reason, right? I read a great book by Greg Tate, Fly in the Buttermilk, but also Mark Anthony Neal has a great book on this about like post-soul aesthetics. Music says a lot about where people are psychically, mentally, and emotionally, and where we are culturally. And I really think that if you look at the music that these Black men are making, it's very remedial. And it's like, all right, this is what we're dealing with. Chris is in his early 30s. Chris and I are the same age. I am 33. He is 33. It's too fucking old. Baby, I just had a meeting with the estate planner. Okay? I just had a rundown of my will and who's getting what. Who's getting access to the brokerage accounts if I die in a tragic accident. I'm not young. Okay? Like, we're not young. We're not little kids. It's funny because Division used to make that kind of begging music. This is one of the first F-Boy songs I've heard from them. I wonder why they decided to pivot like this. Honestly, I truly believe it's about engagement and exposure. There's a formula. They tapped into the formula. We're going to be talking about this and debating it for the next week or so. Maybe the hope is that after we are intro to them via this song, if I get caught, we will dive into the other stuff.